Okay, the big question we always ask ourselves, is Bitcoin actually money? Is it the same as dollars, for example? So in order to answer that question, we have to ask ourselves, what is actually money? And money is really, most importantly, a medium of exchange, right? That is that we are supposed to be able to use it to exchange products, because you may not need economics lessons and I may not need the products that you have. So the way we are transacting is that we sell to other people, and at the end we have money, which is an obligation that we could purchase something else from somebody else. Everybody agrees that it's money because it's legal, because the government says so. And that's called fiat money. Fiat money is when the government says it's a legal tender to buy and sell products. Okay, 2, it has to be a unit of account. Right? Like you need to be able to look at your bank statement, and that number that you see in your bank statement should have some kind of a meaning, right? Like some people have a bigger number, other people have a smaller number, and it represents something, right? It represents your level of wealth, for example. It represents how much you owe, is another example, right? So it's a way for us to do accounting. The third part is the store of value. Money is supposed to be stable, so it shouldn't change very drastically if it's going to be used as money, so that tomorrow when I go buy some products in the store, it should be roughly the same as yesterday. Because if it doesn't, if all of a sudden I need more money, double more money, for example, then you have what we call hyperinflation, right? And if we need less money year after year, it means we have deflation. So our goal is to keep money stable, legal, and valuable, right? So these are the 3 kind of characteristics of money. Now the question is, does Bitcoin have these characteristics? So let's look at it one at a time. Is it a medium for exchange? Well, to some extent, but it's probably not the best medium of exchange, right? So let's just say that most of the things that I buy and sell are still going to be in the legal fiat currency, like NOx or dollars in this case. So I would say I would give it a score of 60 or a D, okay, as a medium of exchange. What about a unit of account? Is it a unit of account? Well, it is, but increasingly regulators are using it as a way of thinking about it as an investment. So the way you have to report it in your financial statements or individually if you buy and sell these is by using other currencies to put it through other currencies. So the unit of account, well, it kind of is there. You could keep it as in the account, and I will give it, I don't know, a C as a unit of account, okay? Because it still works, right? You could put it in your PayPal wallet, and you can have multiple type of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, and it's there. And the final thing, is it a store of value? Well, one of the challenges is that the beta is very high, right? The fluctuation of the value is very high. So as a result, even when it appreciates or depreciates in value vis-a-vis the US dollar, it's not a stable store of value. So I would say, as a store of value, I would give it a 70 or a C. So back to the question, is Bitcoin money? And my equivocal answer, at least for now, is that it's kind of money, but not exactly. All right, so before we talked about how the money supply affects interest rates by government increasing or decreasing the money supply. So when we look at it over time, this is a very interesting thing. There's different ways to measure money supply, but this is time. And in here we have, 2020. In here we have, let's say, 2008. And here we have, let's say, money supply measured as M1 or M2. What you see is that the monetary authorities, for the fiat money to stay valuable, have been very careful with controlling the money supply and keeping it steady. And the normal growth rate that Friedman and others have suggested is about 3% growth rate in the money supply. And that provides some level of stimulus to the economy, but not too much that it creates inflation. Because you see, when you have inflation, you'll just spend all your money as soon as you can, right? You just create the kind of a spending frenzy. Let's go back to the babysitting example where everybody starts with 2 sticks. If I give you 100 sticks, all of a sudden, all you want to do is spend them, right? Because you know you need to spend them. They're not worth much, right? So you need to spend them as soon as you can. So what happened in 2008, of course, we had a kind of a global recession that started as a financial crisis. And in order to bail out the banks, right, the government needed to increase the money supply and to provide direct bailouts to the banks, but also in the process also reduce the interest rates in order to stimulate additional investment. So you had a kind of a increase in the money supply. And now in 2020, when COVID hit, we increased it yet again. So you see what happened is the slope of the money supply growth rate has moved from 3% to 4 to 5%, to some people say between 5 to 10%. Now, unless in the year 2021 or 2022, unless we are ready to decrease back the rate of growth and thereby increase the interest rates and slow down the economy, unless we are ready to do that, we will have a runaway inflation and we will have a depreciation of the US dollar vis-a-vis commodities, vis-a-vis Bitcoin, vis-a-vis real estate, and vis-a-vis markets or countries that don't inflate the money supply as much.